Hello and welcome to this very special show. We're in the middle of a massive transformation that is sweeping this world. Nobody would have imagined a couple of months ago that something like a coronavirus would hit this world and change our lives forever. There's an unmistakable crispness in the air, and that is because people are confined to their homes, fewer cars on the roads, fewer factories are operating because the country is still in the middle of a semi-lockdown. We can see wild animals actually venturing into city roads. That's a good sign. But in all of this, we should not lose sight of a big challenge that is staring upon us, that is of water. The only solution so far to deal with COVID-19 is physical distancing for an indeterminate period of time, and also demonstrably very high levels of hygiene that people will have to show. This makes the importance of water even more significant, particularly from a conservation and reduction in wastage point of view. The show is titled Sustainable Futures, a Conversation in Water Resilience. Please welcome to the show Ramona L. Hamzoe, Deputy Mission Director, USAID, D. Thara, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Dr. Renu Khosla, Center for Urban and Regional Excellence, Cure, India, and Mr. Tukaram Munde, Municipal Commissioner, Municipal Corporation of Nagpur. A very warm welcome to all of you here. We are glad to have you here. We are absolutely delighted that we can take this conversation at a time when the world is going through such a big transformation. Ramona, if I may first come to you, how do you see COVID-19 impacting the water challenges in India, or basically changing the goals, and what does the new normal look like so far as you are concerned?
Thank you very much, Gaurav. Thank you for inviting me on behalf of the U.S. Agency for International Development to really, it's a timely discussion, a very important discussion. Clean water continues to be a crucial component of this changed environment. And it's so important that we have access to clean water, that we use it sustainably, and that we manage it so we can fight against highly infectious diseases like COVID-19. So for USAID, water development issues have always been a high priority in India and across more than 40 countries. We've known the importance of water for so long, but the fact that we're in this pandemic just highlights again good practices, things that we've known that we need to highlight even more at this particular time. And we need to not only consider the very real health issues as people are more susceptible to a host of preventable diseases, but the dignity aspect of not having access to water, the economic consequences that result as well. I'm really pleased that USAID is one of the government of India's primary partners in the Swachh Bharat mission, and together we really work on improving access to water and sanitation throughout the nation. Today, USAID, we've been able to put in additional $6 million in funding to combat COVID-19. We're looking at increasing case finding, contact tracing, surveillance, $3 million that will support the National Health Authority to establish a financing facility that we believe will mobilize resources from the private sector to address this. We've also adjusted $1 million in our various budgets of ongoing activities, including the water and sanitation, to incorporate COVID-19 assistance. Our programs with Cure went Correct. Digital to continue WASH advocacy efforts.
Dee Thara, if I may come to you now, ma'am, one of the key goals of Amrut is to provide clean and accessible drinking water and clean and accessible water to a vast majority of people in the urban areas who still do not have access to clean water, and even if they have, some of these supplies are unaffordable. Now, how does COVID-19 actually change these goals? And how far are we from achieving these goals to begin with? And how does COVID-19 change these goals and milestones?
Amrut is the first focused water mission. It's very interesting. This mission design itself provides for a lot of proactive community participation, state participation, and center is just a facilitator. So under Amrut, as of now, when we started, the gap was around 140 million households. We have already achieved tap connections to 78 million households. Another 1.5 years, we will complete the target. Now, as far as the COVID situation is concerned, now this has enhanced the demand.
Yeah.
See, COVID can be only prevented by mask and wash. These are the two major preventive methods for COVID. So you cover your face and you wash your hands. So washing of hands and having clean drinking water to boost your immunity and overall health quotient is very, very important.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Amrut has to a great extent succeeded in reaching out water to a lot of low economic households, slums, and a lot of women, and even hilly states, which were earlier not looking at water supply to the households.
Very heartening to know that almost 50 to 60% of the AMRUT projects are almost complete, and we are rapidly moving towards achieving the goals. Dr. Renu Khosla, if I may bring you in here, how does organizations like CURE help governments understand, help governments understand the situation at the ground level more better, because you are dealing with communities, you are dealing with people right at the ground level, and particularly in the context of the new normal where there are economic and health repercussions.
Gaurav, as they say that we get to know the worth of water when the wells go dry, and
That's
all
right.
the poor are living at the edge, and their wells have normally been quite dry. And the fact that Jal Jeevan Mission has come up with this whole idea of taps at home, I think
Yeah.
that is the future of water, and that is the way we would be able to deliver good quality water to poor households. What we noticed during the COVID epidemic was that the demand for water actually in the slums shot up nearly 50%. The reason being that everybody was at home
Yes.
and everybody needed to use the toilet, and even in the community toilets or in the shared water supply, the demand for water was pretty high. So if we are talking about a future where there could be a disaster or a pandemic, we must not just ensure that the poor get access to sufficient water, we need to plug them into the system. There are several ways by which we engage with the local governments. One, of course, is that we demonstrate models in the city. We demonstrate solutions that are co-produced and co-designed by the local communities. If you look at the city of Agra, we have several settlements where community rainwater harvesting has happened. These are huge underground tanks that have been built by the people, and these underground tanks have been harvesting 10 lakh liters of water every rain. And this means that the neighborhood is resilient. The neighborhood doesn't have to depend on the water supply, erratic water supply that comes from the city. They get good quality drinking water, but at the same time,
Yes.
they are saving the city crores of rupees, because now they are not pumping the water out, and the city doesn't have to tanker water to them.
Yes,
The city
yes.
doesn't have to pump water out. So we are also we are also preserving and conserving the hydrology, the underground
Absolutely.
aquifers of our city by doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have other solutions. We have also looked at sewage. We've looked at
Yes.
wastewater as a resource, and decentralized wastewater treatment systems have cleaned the dirty waters and stormwater drains and have
Absolutely.
repurposed this water. The larger impact is that when this repurposed water is used for agriculture, we are actually shifting from sewage-based farming to clean water-based farming. When these stormwater drains are cleaned up and they drop into rivers, we are contributing to the improvement of the quality
Yes.
of the river.
This is a good context to bring in Tukaram Munde, who's right at the forefront of dealing with such situation, particularly in an urban center like Nagpur. Mr. Munde, first of all, how bad or how normal is the water situation this summer in Nagpur?
I think it's pretty well. We have been able to manage properly this time, because last year monsoon was good. The reservoirs were full, so that was not an issue. However, we need to build in the accountability with all the stakeholders, including the providers and the consumers. Now, if you have more water, does it mean that you squander more water or use more water? And that's what, particularly during this pandemic, which happened, it happened during the heat of the summer.
Correct.
And
That is
people
correct.
were at home, They were using water 24/7. So there was a huge demand to increase the supply to the consumers. But however, we had made it very clear that it's being a natural resource, we cannot squander. Increased demand during COVID-19 and summer heat, particularly around the range of 44-45 degrees in Nagpur. This year we have been able to reduce the use by almost 10 percentage point as compared to last year. So this year we lifted around 14 mm³ less as compared to last year. So this is the type of saving of natural resources also. We cannot say saving per se, but we can say the effect of squandering we have done.
That's right.
What we need to go in long term is basically to educate and price the water in appropriate manner.
Very good point you have raised. And in fact, the kind of achievements, it's a very interesting point you have also touched upon when you said that despite high demand and low water supply, you could end up saving a lot of water. That is, you had extracted less water despite high demand and low supply. This is a template that other cities and towns probably can adopt. And we'll come back to the pricing point in a bit and some of the points that all the panelists have raised. We're going to slip into a short break. Welcome back. Just to take on from what we had discussed just before slipping into the break, Ramona, I would like to come to you now, and basically I would like to know views about the Swachh Bharat mission. You know, the USAID has been actively working with the government, and the importance of hygiene can never be overemphasized in a situation like that we find ourselves in. What has been the experience so far, and where do you see Swachh Bharat mission going towards in the coming months or in the coming years? And what kind of a role do you see for USAID given the new challenge?
The Swachh Bharat mission, urban, Amrut, the Smart City mission, there are 3 urban development programs, of course, being implemented by the government of India that really are creating a paradigm shift in the way the Indian cities are planned, developed, governed, and managed. And they're so important. I mean, they are making a major impact, having a major impact on water accessibility, sanitation, and hygiene. Under the Swachh Bharat mission is, of course, the Swachh Survekshan, or the National Cleanliness Survey. So in 2016, we helped develop the first survey for 73 cities that was used as a tool to measure their progress. So impressed with the results. I mean, that has expanded nationwide, and it's such an important way of doing business now.
Taja, I would like to bring you on to a slightly under reported or under talked about aspect of making water accessible in urban areas, which is the use of technology. And it is absolutely critical that we get acquire technology at the right price, and which also ensures that affordable water is made accessible to a vast majority of those who do not have access to water because they cannot afford. Appropriate use of technology also helps break down vested interest and what is sometimes described as the water mafia in many cities. What has been the experience of Amrut, and what are the kind of technologies that the program has adopted?
I worked in Ahmedabad as municipal commissioner. There used to be a lot of problems among the water distribution stations. We didn't get so much water, we got so much water. Now nobody is going to stand there and measure. The moment we put in the SCADA systems and we started projecting it into the public domain that your ward got so much water, nobody was pressing the valve wrongly anytime. And we just got over with the problems of vested interest in pulling more water into their area. I mean, that it just disappeared. So putting sensors, that is one thing. Another is, metering the consumption. The third thing is, if you could have group meters, technology helps in differentiating. Now, you don't supply water to every apartment when you supply water. To apartments, it is supplied in one place. To have amicable existence and actually save water, they put in their meters to see that each one of the house gets. So all these, once you start measuring, you get good results. On the other hand, the technology for looking at sewer being treated and coming out. Sewerage treatment plants are easy to build, but very difficult to actually operate. Again, the technology which was used to tertiarily treat water under Amrut project in Chennai, where the minister was drinking the treated water, is a very important message. that, water is water. It is not wastewater, it is used water. The used water can be treated and reused.
This is a very important piece of communication advice that you have said. Water is water, and the whole concept of wastewater should be eliminated from our mainstream discourse. For an organization like Cure, what are the kind of processes that you are bringing about to ensure that people come together, you get in the communities together? After all, it is the people's participation that is going to achieve the goals that we have set ourselves for, including particularly in areas like water conservation and water sustainability.
So, Gaurav, community participation is the key, and the key to bringing up local solutions, to curating local solutions. We have to first of all recognize that people have wisdom. They live in those conditions, and poor people especially know how to live without water. So they understand the concept of conservation, and they understand the need to be resilient. What we really need to do is to bring them together as a group, engage, and to help them be part and make them part of the whole planning, design, implementation, and also financial contribution. That builds ownership, and that is when people take responsibility. So let's look at the future of the water. It is going to be unpredictable. So we need to make people co-producers. We need to bring them into the grid. Now, I think one of the biggest challenges that cities face is the fact that they are unable to reach into the slum communities, into the kind of communities that we are working in, primarily because there is a legal land tenure issue, and also because of the legacy design solutions that they are familiar with. I mean, if it's going to be business as usual for them, then they're not going to be able to extend gully pipelines, gully sewers, simplified sewers, so that poor people will have their own taps and toilets inside slums, which means we have to change the protocols, as Farah said. We need to have new ways of doing things. We've started the concept of resilient schools, where we have converted, using the circularity principle of the water economy. We have looked at fixing toilets, treating the hand washing wastewater, harvesting rainwater in school, and using all this water to actually grow vegetables, which would then change the nutrition content. And what do you see? You see happy schools, you see happy children, you see healthy children, you see teachers engaged. Today, we can't go out into the community because of the infection. But what we've done is everybody has a smartphone in a city, or at least most people do have smartphones in the city. So what we are doing is connecting through the IT, digital IT solutions are helping people talk to each other, engage with each other, create larger groups, and then distribute and not only share the knowledge, but also the solutions.
Absolutely. So it's very, very important and very relevant points you have raised about community participation, the importance of the participation of people, and giving them a sense of belonging about the changes that are needed to bring about in India's water accessibility. And that is why, Tukaram Munde, the kind of work that the municipal corporations are doing across the world, particularly in cities like Nagpur, is commendable. While before going into a break, you touched upon the very important point on pricing of water. How do we go about ensuring that accessible water, clean water, is made available at a price that is affordable for everybody?
There are ways and means of doing it. We have to bear in mind that there are two components of cost of water. One is the capital cost and other is OPEX cost. So this capital cost may not be able to recover from the consumers as such, but definitely we can recover at least OPEX cost, on which the success or failure of a project water supply depends.
Correct.
Unfortunately, what has happened is the solutions many times are not end-to-end. So we need to go for end-to-end solution, right from catchment to consumer concept. What is need of the hour? Unless we account for the natural resources, that is water, right from where we lift it to the consumer, where it is used and again
Yes.
reuse it. If you regulate it along with providing proper network and use of technology, whether
Yes,
start up from end to end and metering and price it. So all these three angles, three issues, how to go in it. So then
Yes.
it becomes counting of water on the one hand, pricing it, and proper usage. So if you do that, I think definitely we can do. Secondly is we have this concept of 24/7 water supply, and we always
Yes.
there is a perception saying that 24/7 water supply is costly affair. Actually, it's reverse.
Yes.
24/7 water supply is less costlier than providing water supply for 1 hour or 2 hours a day. Reason being, OPEX cost goes down of the provider, that is say corporation or the government, and OPEX cost of the consumer also goes down because they will
Yes.
not need, let's say, sumps, pumps, and even the purifying machines. If we reduce
Yes.
that cost from the operation cost of the consumer, they will happily, if the water is available 24/7 at the tap, they will happily pay that. Second part of what I was saying, reuse. What is the reuse? When we say sewage
Yes.
water, wash water goes away, if we are
Yes.
using that one and treating it at tertiary level and using it for
Yes.
potable or non-potable purposes, I think we can really do wonders.
Thank you, Tukaram Munde, for these very insightful points. But before we wrap, the last word to Renu Khosla. Renu Khosla, how has COVID-19 changed the landscape in India's slums, in India's cities?
It's only made it more complicated, Gaurav. And we are still trying to grapple with the kind of complications we are going to be looking. I think the solutions, and I just want to very briefly talk about the fact that whatever solutions that we are looking at a city level, these solutions have to move inside slums, and they need to be localized. So we need to follow an ecosystem approach. So I would say localism, ecosystem approach, de-engineering, decentralizing, that's going to be the future of water.
Absolutely. I've hit the nail on the head. We have to develop a system of micro payments for micro use of water, and that is, we cannot say that we have achieved it unless we reach water to the slums and similar colonies in the cities. We would have loved this conversation to go on because these are extremely insightful, important points that are being discussed, but unfortunately we're constrained by time. Thank you so much to all our panelists.
पानी है ही नहीं जमीन में, खारा पानी है।
पानी की तो हर आदमी को जरूरत है। हम हर चीज पैदा कर सकते हैं लेकिन पानी नहीं पैदा कर सकते।
पहले एक हैंडपंप था बस खाली यहाँ पर, उसी से हमारी करीब 120 घर की बस्ती है, वो सारा पानी भरते थे। तो रात को हम 2:30 बजे से जगते थे।
झगड़े होते थे हमारे सती नगर में, तो एक बार इतना बड़ा झगड़ा हुआ, वहाँ पे एक आदमी मर गया।
टेस्ट कराया पानी, तो उसमें फ्लोराइड TDS बहुत ज़्यादा निकला, तो पानी तो पीने लायक ही नहीं है। एकदम ऐसा है जैसे कि मतलब अंदर तक ले जा ही नहीं सकते।
पानी की बहुत समस्या आ गई यहाँ पर, तो क्योर NGO द्वारा हमसे मिला गया, तो हम लोगों ने उन्होंने कहा कि हमको जगह चाहिए, तो हम लोगों ने उनको जगह दी कि जगह तो हमारे विद्यालय में बहुत है। क्योर संस्था ने ये हमारे यहाँ 2 कुएँ बनवाए वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए।
क्योर की टीम निकल के ही जा रही थी यहाँ से, तो उन्होंने देखा हमारी दिक्कत है कि बहुत ज़्यादा यहाँ पर दिक्कत है कि टंकी में सभी लोग पानी को एडजस्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो उन्होंने फिर हम बात किया सभी से, बुजुर्ग इंसान से, जेंट्स लोगों से भी किया और सारी महिलाओं से कि अगर हम ऐसा एक टैंक बनवा दिया जाए जिससे आपकी पानी की जो पूर्ति है थोड़ी ज़्यादा तो नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत आपके समय के लिए पानी की प्रॉब्लम कम हो जाएगी।
रेन वाटर हार्वेस्ट सिस्टम बहुत ज़रूरी है, हर इंसान के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। इस पानी को पीने से 95% बच्चे बीमार नहीं होते।
जैसे बैंक में पैसा जमा रहता है वैसे ही इसमें हमारे लिए पानी जमा है, क्योंकि ये बैंक से जब ज़रूरत पे हम पैसा निकालते हैं, ऐसी ज़रूरत पे हम इस अपनी बैंक से पानी निकालते हैं।